Dean Henderson set to leave. Steve Cooper giving his initial thoughts on Scarpa. And Forest are taking on Olympiacos. Let's get into it. Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are, whatever time of day you're watching this. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday and welcome to the start of your weekend. And what better way to start it than with some great news on Dean Henderson. Dean Henderson has come out and said, so the rumors are saying that he will not be returning to Manchester United and will be leaving Manchester United. To what destination, though, that is still unclear. But obviously Forest would be his preferred choice. But the caveat to that is we must stay in the Premier League because Hendo wants still to fight for his England place. And therefore, he has to showcase it in the biggest league in the world, so to speak. But the question really is, do we want Henderson? And that's a question for you guys out on post. The reason I say that is because there's a lot of rumors of Samba coming back to the Premier League next season, with the likes of Leicester really desperate to sign him. But should Forest let him go to another Premier League team, or would you like to see Samba back? The real question is, which of the two would you prefer? Let me know down in the comments below. Hendo will probably drive a tag of about 20 mil. I think the fact that he's said that he wants to leave can reduce that price down. So it may be something like 15 with 5 mil buy on with add-ons even. But let me know, which is your preferred choice? For me personally, Samba is a bit of a cult hero to me. The saves he made against Sheffield United, the way he just commanded the box and his distribution, all are on his plus sides. But he is the kind of keeper that makes your asshole pucker up from time to time as you're not sure what he's going to do. In terms of Henderson, I think he's more assured. He's a really good shot stopper, quite commanding and has a great personality. But it's his distribution that keeps coming up and being questioned by a lot of the Forest fan base. Where do you guys sit on Dean Henderson's distribution? Do you think it's his fault, or would you blame the players around him for not being available and not being open to receive passes and forcing Hendo to punt it out usually for a throw-in? Let me know down in the comments below. Before we jump into the Steve Cooper comments, I just want to tell you guys about the new podcast that we have launched, Grumpy Old Reds. It's not me that's the grumpy one, it's the other two. But please do go and check it out. Episode 1 was released today. The links are down below. It's on Apple, it's on Spotify, and it's on Google. Although Google seems to be a lot slower than the other two. Please do be kind enough to go there and at least subscribe to it and follow the podcast there. We're looking, as I've mentioned to you guys over the past couple of weeks, to expand out the Nottingham Forest base. We're covering YouTube. We're going to cover the podcast now. There's 1 or 2 other things in the pipeline as well. So thank you all for your support on this channel. But if you would be kind enough, if you do listen to podcasts, maybe while you're driving home from work, or even better, if you can't sleep at night, put us on the podcast and you'll be out like a light. So please do go and check that out. Links in the description down below. And let us know what you think of the format of the podcast. Would you like it longer? Would you like it shorter? Let us know. We're here to serve you, the fans. The Forest fans, though. We don't have fans. Anyway, let's jump on to what you're here for, and it's more Forest news. All right, so Steve Cooper has come out and set out some comments about Scarpa. And I'm just going to run you through those and I'll give you my thoughts on it. But more importantly, I want to get your thoughts on it. So he said it was only a training game, so we never want to judge too much off that. For me, you've got to be careful that you don't rush into many judgments, good, bad, or indifferent with new players, particularly when they come from where they come from and the time they have come in. His experience is a little bit more normal, really, in terms of coming into a group, which is a bit more settled than we were in the summer. We've just let him settle in and be who he is. First and foremost, you can see he's a really good guy, which is important for me, and he works hard in training. And then he goes on to say, you get that right, then you start seeing the real player, and then you have to get to work in terms of seeing where we might see him. That's a terrible sentence. Let me read it again. I probably read it wrong. And then you have to get to work in terms of seeing where we might see him. Anyway, the challenge for everyone is to get into the team. Players who might have played a lot before the break, I don't want them to take their place for granted. And players who maybe think they should have played a bit more, I want them to be using this break as an opportunity to showcase the contributions they make. He, in terms of Scarpa, joins the process. We treat every player equally. I don't know if I'd agree with that, and try to make the best decisions going forward. He's joined the group and we've enjoyed having him in this first week. He speaks very good English, which helps. You join a group and get your hands dirty. Okay, so quite a bit to talk about there. Firstly, I definitely don't agree with all the players are treated the same. I don't think that's just a Steve Cooper thing. I think that's an any manager thing. So that for me is, but he's going to say it, isn't it? It's kind of manager talk. What worries me a little bit, well, two things. One that I don't mind too much is where he said it was a training game. We're not going to judge him just off a training match, which is fine. I completely agree with that and I completely respect that. But I just feel like he's kind of taken a slow down approach with Scarpa. Obviously, he shouldn't be where I am on Scarpa and jumping off the ceiling and screaming, Scarpina, Scarpina, Scarpina. So it's a case of, I get that. But it just feels to me that he doesn't quite see him as an automatic starter yet. Now, no player should be an automatic starter. We've spoken about this before. But he's got to have seen how good he is. He really must have. So maybe he's just downplaying him. Maybe he's downplaying him for the opponents. Like Chelsea will be Scarpa's first match if he's selected. But I am so excited to see him tomorrow in the Olympiacos game. Of course, we will have the watch along for you here. Couple of other things. I think he's quite right in what he says about Scarpa's now joining a team that's settled, whereas 23 players joined a team that was 23 players basically in the summer. But that also has a hidden meaning to it, doesn't it? Because in Steve Cooper's mind now, he sees the squad as quite settled. So therefore, we should start to see gelling and cohesion on the pitch as well. Not like we saw against Friendly at Stoke. So hopefully when we watch the Olympiacos game tomorrow, we should see, I'm hoping we see a starting 11 that he's thinking of starting, because I don't want him to waste games like he did in the summer with the Coventry game, with the Notts County game, with even the Valencia game in certain aspects of it. And the Union Berlin, oh God, that was a terrible match. But there was so many times where he was just blooding in players that didn't even make it, didn't even get a squad number. Like Lyle Taylor, like Cafu, etc. And you just scratch your head and you think, what the hell was the point in that? On top of that, in the summer, we were playing in a back three, and then we had to revert to a back four. So in essence, you could argue the whole of the summer's friendlies were pointless because we haven't played that formation since. I don't know, it's just food for thought. But let's see what happens with the Olympiacos game. I do want to add as well, what an absolute joke it is that Forest are charging £5 to watch the game. It just doesn't make sense. We're in a time of a living crisis disaster in the UK, and I'm sure across the world as well. Prices are skyrocketing on everything. This isn't a Premier League match. This is a bloody friendly, and they're still trying to scrape, sides of our wallets. Just get every last penny out of us. It's bad enough how much you have to pay for tickets these days and the travel to games and things like that. Yet they still want to charge £5 for a friendly. These should be free. They should be free to air. Not like the last one against Astro Farm, where they just locked it all up. Look, I did say in the other video, give me a fiver to see, I'd pay a fiver to see Scarpa. And I still mean that. But the point is, they need to have some kind of corporate social responsibility towards the fans. Yes, a fiver isn't that much in essence, but it depends on your situation. And it just doesn't sit right with me. Forest, free to air him, man. Come on, what's the point? You did that with the Stoke match. What makes this Olympiacos match so much higher? But anyway, my thoughts there for you guys. All right, guys. So as I just mentioned, we will have the Olympiacos game for you tomorrow. Kickoff is at 5 p.m. UK time. We'll probably be on air about 15 minutes to half an hour before that, just to have your notifications on. And of course, it'll pop up when we go live. Quick couple of bits of homework for you guys to do. Let me know down below, Hendo or Samba. Maybe some of you want both. Don't know. Let me know. And then please, if you could quickly now just go and hit the old podcasts up, be it on Apple, be it on Google, or be it on Spotify, whichever your preferred platform is, or all three if you want to. If you have a listen to it, leave us a 5-star review. If you don't listen to it, just leave us a 5-star review because it helps with the rankings and everything. The links for all three are down below, and they're also available on other listening platforms as well for those of you who don't use those three. We will catch up with you guys tomorrow on the watch along. I can't wait for it. Will Scarpina finally be able to be seen by our eyes in the Forest Red? We will find out tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go listen to episode 1 of the podcast. We'll see you tomorrow. Come on, you Reds.